So I said in my review of Spider-Man 1 of the Raimi trilogy that my very controversial hot take was that it was my least favorite of the 5 Spider-Man movies in the Raimi movies, and including the Mark Webb movies as well. And a drastic shift from the first movie, as Spider-Man 2 is quite honestly my favorite of the 5 Spider-Man movies, disregarding the MCU, of course. It definitely deserves the reputation it gets. This film is fucking fantastic. I love it. Seriously, like this, again, contrasting with the first film, this film, it just takes itself a lot more seriously and is less hokey and ridiculous. Like, that's not to say it isn't fun or funny and it doesn't have its cheesy moments, because it does, but it is significantly toned down, which, allows me to enjoy it more, honestly. Like, Peter Parker, in this movie, in Spider-Man 2, he's honestly just such a really great character. It's awesome that this movie really deals with the struggles that, Peter has being Spider-Man, that, anyone would really realistically have being put in this position and, trying to live his life. And I really like the drama that, comes from it in this movie. It's really great. It's really well written. This movie is slower paced than the last one, but, I like that because it kind of, I kind of thought that the pacing in the first Spider-Man movie was too quick, honestly. This movie, really puts you in the shoes of Peter, who is, struggling with his life and struggling with his choices, and you get to see him, dealing with his mental health, which is, having an effect on his physical abilities, and then, he ends up quitting being Spider-Man, and then you see him over time, taking back the mantle of Spider-Man, again, with, fantastic scenes, like, for example, the fire rescue, where Peter has to go in and, rescue a kid from a burning building with, without using his powers, which he doesn't have access to at the time. That's a great scene. It's just like, scenes like that really make this movie, in my opinion. It really focuses on the human drama of being Spider-Man and what that means and what responsibility truly is. And I think that's really great. And, it's just, like, this film just has really great writing. And honestly, like, some of the scenes of this movie were really emotional. Like, the scene where Peter tells Aunt May, what happens when Uncle Ben died, and that he is responsible for his death, and like that was heartbreaking. Like, it was so oh my gosh, seriously, like this movie really could be a tearjerker at times. Honestly, like, it's really great, not just a great Superman, not just a great superhero movie, but just a really great character-driven movie. And on top of that, though, the action and the special effects in Spider-Man 2 are, like, so much better in this movie than the previous one. Some of the effects seem a little dated, but, like, they are much better than the last one, and, I can forgive that because some of the action in this movie is just really fucking great. I don't think I have to even explain the fucking train sequence, an absolutely incredible fight scene that I go and rewatch, like, all the time now, and that is better than most of the action scenes made today. Like, seriously, the fucking train sequence is so goddamn good. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, really like that aspect of this movie a lot better than the first one. In terms of the villain, I think Doc Ock is honestly a much better villain than the Green Goblin was in the first movie. It definitely helps that I can actually take Doc Ock seriously, which I could not do with the Green Goblin. So, yeah, that is a much improvement. His Doc Ock's mechanical arms, like, whispering in his ear to, finish the fusion project was pretty weird, and I don't understand why he gave them artificial intelligence in the first place, but, didn't really make much sense to me, but, sorry. No, but hey, honestly, at least I find his motivations of, being obsessed with, finishing his fusion project, more compelling and interesting than William Dafoe just going crazy and having a split personality all of a sudden. So yeah, I liked the villain in this movie definitely more than the first one. And I gotta say though, like, another thing that I really liked about Doc Ock in this movie was basically, the fact that I think his relationship with Peter in this movie is honestly, better and more well built up and established than, than Peter's relationship with, William Dafoe was in the first Spider-Man movie. Like, in the first Spider-Man movie, Green Goblin was basically saying, "Oh, Peter, I've been like a father to you," but I didn't really feel that in any significant way because it didn't really seem like that, the way the movie presented their relationship with not really a whole lot of context. But in this movie, I honestly buy, Peter and Doc Ock's relationship a lot more. And, the scene where, basically at the end where Peter, takes off his mask and appeals to Doc Ock's humanity to get him to try to correct his actions was honestly really great. Very emotional scene and very powerful that, Peter was basically trying to learn and, in the end, not just use his powers to be a hero, but also, using the person that he was and the relationship that he had with, Doc Ock to ultimately save the day in the end. So that was really great. It's a very fitting end to, the movie. I gotta say, though, as great as the climax is in this movie, which it is really great, Peter just makes that stupid, dopey face at the end. You know the one. I'm gonna put it up on the screen right now so you can see it. And then, of course, and it's been memed to absolute hell. But also, then Doc Ock makes a face that looks like he's orgasming, and it's just on screen too. It's just like, come on, they couldn't have used a different take for those scenes. Like, they couldn't have made it look a little less goofy. It's just like, it's just. Anyway, no, but regardless of that, like, there are some moments like that are just kind of take me out of the moment with how ridiculous they are, and I mean, but but really, this movie is still really good, and there are a lot of great things about it. And also, I didn't mention this before in my review of the first Spider-Man movie, but J.K. Simmons, of course, absolutely iconic as J. Jonah Jameson. He is, like, so incredibly good. He's so incredibly funny. I love him. J. Jonah Jameson, of course, great as always in this movie. Honestly, even more funny than in the first movie. So, even though this movie is great and I really like a lot of things about it, one major problem with this movie, which is arguably worse than the first movie, is, again, Mary Jane. I just don't like her. And her whole subplot with her, marrying my son, the astronaut, it's just like, it's so pointless. What did it add to the movie? I get it. I like the my son, the astronaut character is like, he is a non-character. He is a plot device. He has no point in this movie other than to basically beat Peter down some more and make him feel even worse. And it's just like, it's just like, and Mary Jane, but like Mary Jane too is kind of like not really presented in the best light in this movie because like this, my son, the astronaut character, who she is apparently marrying in this movie, he's kind of this dumbass, I guess, but like he isn't really portrayed as any kind of, jerk or bad guy, but, Mary Jane, who basically, commits herself to marrying him, basically then just leaves him at this last second with no explanation to go with Peter. And then, I don't know, kind of feels like a dick move to me, in my opinion. It's just like, I felt a little bad for him, despite the fact that he barely had, like, any scenes in this movie whatsoever, and he was just, like, felt incredibly pointless. Like, you can cut him out and miss nothing. Like, it's just, like, wouldn't it have been more interesting if the person Mary Jane was marrying in this movie wasn't my son, the astronaut, but was actually, like, Eddie Brock, setting up his bitterness and resentment at Peter for the next movie? But no, it was just my son, the astronaut. And it's just, like, maybe the most ridiculous thing introduced in this entire trilogy. Feels incredibly out of place, but whatever. But overall, disregarding the fact that my son, the astronaut, and Mary Jane are very not good aspects of this movie, it's still a very great film. There's a lot of great aspects of it, and it's probably my favorite Spider-Man movie of the 5, including the Raimi trilogy and the Mark Webb movies. But yeah, that was what I thought about Spider-Man 2. Great movie. Definitely check it out. And if you have your own thoughts, leave them down in the comments below. This has been the Aromantic Shipper. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, remember, just because you can't feel love doesn't mean you shouldn't want other people to. Bye.